Cool.
Hey,
So, Kelly, how are you today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, what better way to spend a cool day, an amazing day with someone as amazing, as talented, and badass as you?
Thank you so much. And same to you. I feel so honored that I made it into this all-star group.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, yeah, it's the special edition now, and it's so awesome and it's so cool to have you back here on the show. I mean, since our last interview, I've saw that you have accomplished like a lot of cool things here and there, like a lot of epic stuff, which we're gonna talk about it soon. But before we start, I have to give you, the drill. I have to give you an epic, awesome welcome to this show. So let's start first. There you go.
My favorite part. My favorite part.
I'm currently working on this very epic intro, like with like more epicness. I'm still working on that though. But in the meantime, this is the typical legendary intro, and I have
I
a
can't
plus.
wait for it to get more legendary. Like I can't
Well,
wait.
I have a plus right now, like a small plus. So, since your career is awesome and you're awesome, if somebody would tell me, can you describe Kelly? The only thing that I would say would be that. Would say that.
I love that. That's more than any words can say.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Now, starting with the whole interview. Now, tell me what's new since our last interview.
What is new? Well, as I was telling you right before this chat, I just came from a chemical peel. I just got Invisalign. I'm very investing in my looks now. As self-centered as that sounds, but it's like, I've been working so much on the acting part that's like, oh, I am on camera. Like, I need to start worrying about
Yeah, I know what you
how
mean.
I look. So I've been pampering myself, and that's been nice. And yeah, I've been working on some fun projects, which I feel like they hadn't started last time I talked. Like I was telling you how I was getting excited for them. That web series Anna Banana, we shot the pilot episode this past week, and it was so much fun. And yeah, just been a lot of hustling and auditioning and getting back into it.
There you go. There you go. Yes, I do have watched some of that, and let me tell you that it's really cool. And about the looks, yeah, I can totally know what you mean. I mean, I will look at myself and be like, yeah, I need to have like a change here and there, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I want to also give a shout out to Amanda Fama, who just gave me a little round of applause. I see so many of my friends in here, and
There you go.
say hi.
There you go. You know what? Let's give a shout out also to Amanda right now. I mean, now that we have her here, let's give her a nap. Let's give him a shout out here. Let me just find it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's a shout out for her. For being so awesome.
Yes, Kaylee. Oh my God, I love seeing you guys in here. Okay, look at this. We got a fan base on your show. So
there you go. I love that. Love that. So, checking your Instagram profile, we will see that you joined SAG-AFTRA, which, by the way, congratulations on that. I mean, we definitely need to celebrate on that. I mean, we really need to pop the champagne, make a huge party around. But tell me about that experience. I mean, how it felt to have accomplished that.
It really feels like a new chapter.
Totally.
I keep describing to my friends, and I think this joining SAG is a big part of it. And I think being on the side of the pandemic where I'm least able to be in New York City, and auditioning more and doing more projects, it just really feels like I'm getting this buzzing feeling in me that this is my time, or this is everybody's time, to get those passion projects out there and take your career to the next level. And that's something that I set the intention for earlier on this year, that I just wanted to work on more legit projects. Not that I hadn't worked on legit stuff in the past, but just something that not only I took seriously, but that everyone else was taking just as seriously, and something that once it came out, we'd all be really proud of.
Totally.
And you can't always, it's really, big pool when you're looking into non-union work. You never know kind of what level in the process they're at. what's going to come of the project. And I do feel so far, you know, a month or two into only doing SAG work, that like it starts at a level where like I know, you know, they're going through taking care of our needs. Like they're going to start this production is going to be at a level that I feel like I'm ready for. So that's been really exciting. And people would tell me, or like it's a common thing to say, that like stay non-union as long as you can, because like then you can take non-union and union work, and sometimes it's hard to get union work. And I've just done so much non-union work that I feel like, you know, it's different for everybody. I just felt like it was time, and I have been getting a lot of union work, thankfully, even whether it be background acting or small projects by friends, that it's actually way easier to make your projects SAG than people think. Like you just kind of have to go through them, you know, fill out the appropriate forms, and now you're SAG eligible. So some people that I was working on projects with already, and then I had to tell them they were SAG, went through those steps to make it SAG eligible. So I don't think I'm missing out on anything. If anything, it's just more opportunity. So
totally
exciting.
Totally. Yeah. I do have heard, like in some of the interviews that I had, that not being in the union, it's especially in New York, that it gets kind of a little bit complicated, you know, like to find gigs, or sometimes you'll have to wait in this very long lines, and then at the end, when it's finally your turn, they might say, no, we already found someone, bye, and that's it. And you wasted like a lot of your time there, or that even sometimes you will pick your turn, you will do all of your things on your day, then you will return, and you will still have to be waiting. So the fact that you reached that is really cool. And at the end of the day, I mean, I think what's important here, it's what works you best, you know. And if being in the union now, as you just mentioned that you did non-union work before, and you're doing it now, it works. That's really cool. And as I said, I mean, in some of the interviews that I had, like some of these actors, they're not in the union, so the fact that you were that's really cool. So that's a huge shout out and a huge congratulations on that.
Thank you. And like you said, that also has happened to me, where someone's wanted to work with me, and then they realized they had to take these steps, and they didn't want to take them, and that's totally okay. I'm becoming more and more okay with days off. Like I'm welcoming them. Like before, where I was like, I have to work all the time. Now it's more, when I meant like legit work, I meant, you know, also like quality over quantity. Like I'm shooting a film I'm really excited about in 2 weeks. I don't have any work booked until then, and I'm like, you know, I'm still lightly applying to things and auditioning for things, but I'm not stressed out that I don't work before then. So I'm like, wow, now I do have time to really work on this role, and that's better than like keeping myself busy with busy work and not giving them my full best performance. Like, oh, now that will be great, and then I can use that in my reel, and then I can take me to another big opportunity. So quantity over quality, I'm like, yeah, I'll welcome it. People don't want to work with me because they don't want to go through the steps, and that's okay, because it gives me more time to go through my own steps. So, yeah. There you
go. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a rock star. Plain and simple. Now, from being from Rochester, New York, and have been performing on stage since the age of 3, to join the Be a Star summer camp on middle school, to having graduated from college, to work for NBC, to have joined HB Studio, and to get to the moment in which you joined SAG-AFTRA, tell me, like, what are some of the highlight moments during all of those times, and what do you enjoy the most about your career at the moment?
That's a cool question to reflect on. Also, in 3 minutes, remember, I gotta take my dinner out the oven, but I'll be right back here. Yeah, to reflect on what's been the most fun, I think it's when I'm working with other people who are just as fully invested in the story, and we can just kind of lose ourselves. Like, so when you mentioned like Be a Star camp, you know, that was like just the theater summer camp. Like I wasn't pursuing it in school, so it was kind of like this thing I was doing outside of school. No one I knew was doing it, but everyone was just so into it and so dedicated. And I felt like when I was on stage, whether my role was like ensemble or like one of the bigger roles, that I just felt so like the magic of it. You know, I'm like in middle school, we're like doing Honk, which was like the Ugly Duckling, or like Aladdin, or what else we do, Guys and Dolls. And I just like really felt like within those environments. So I think anytime you can not only be in that flow state, but also with the people around you is like really cool. And I feel that way at HB Studio. You know, I'm now in like a class of like between 10 to 20 people that I act with every week, that I've acted with over the pandemic. But now that we're in person, it's just so cool to get that like stage magic again. Like you're on stage, you're really living it, and then oh my God, hearing laughter in real time, you know, because on Zoom, like everyone was muted themselves, and I'm like, like you enjoyed that too. Like it's such a great community feeling.
Totally.
So I think those are the highlights, are those moments that not only I'm lost in it, but I can tell everybody else is too.
There you go. Now, tell me, what was your reaction when you saw the other day that you were trending on IMDb?
I thought there was a mistake. I thought, I'm like, do they just tell this to people to get them to log into the app and be like, and just share their stats? But no, I mean, I looked at the analytics side, and I think because of the projects that I've been associated with recently, like what got me into SAG. I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to say it, but it is on my IMDb if anyone wants to check my new credits. But basically, I think those got me trending in a way. And I even put on old projects. So sometimes, you know, someone forgets to add me on something, and you know, I gotta like go back and be like, oh yeah, let me like log and promote, you know, the different projects I've been on.
Totally.
So I think a mixture of those things made me trending. But what was really cool is like that second slide that I posted, that was like that climb for like the last 10 years, like since I've been in New York City, you know, working on student films, and then you know, web series where those things would go viral, and then now with different TV shows. It's just like, to see my progress is so cool, because at each point you feel like there's so far to go, you know. Like right now, obviously I would love an agent or a manager, if anyone's watching. I would love a co-star guest star role on a TV show, you know. I would love all these things, but I would also love, I didn't, if you asked me like a year or two ago if that I would be in SAG, I'd be like elated. I'd be like, oh my God, how? Like, oh my God, so cool. Like, and even that I've stuck with acting classes this long, I'm so proud of. And I just, it's nice to see a physical representation of that I am going, and then humbling me to see it goes down a little bit, you know, but that overall it's going up. Like if it was doing this, then I'd be a little worried. But just being able to see that, because it's so hard to track your progress, or to sometimes be proud of yourself or grateful in the moment, you know. Sometimes you kind of need a reminder like that to sit back and be like, okay, cool, like all this hard work is being reflected.
It is really cool. Let's make it trendy right now. I mean, if you're listening to this later on the podcast or watching later on the YouTube, make sure that you are checking Kelley IMDb right now. Let's do it again. Let's make it trendy one more time. You know, let's break IMDb. You know, the same thing has happened to Instagram. Let's do it, but with Kelley.
Hell yeah! Hey, maybe our last interview helped too. And I see a lot of my friends on here. Give Dan a follow. I see some followers from Brazil. Give me a follow. You know, we'll help each other out.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's how we're all about. That's really cool. You know, when I saw that, I was super excited. I was like, yeah, that's really cool. I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things that I do love the most is that the people that I've interviewed, when I see that they are reaching more stuff, that they are getting more projects and stuff like that, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, because you definitely play a part, not only in like whatever algorithm helps us with, but like the fact that you're creating this space where people can brag and reflect on their accomplishments, and just feel good about themselves. Like I said, you make me feel like a celebrity. So it's like, the more you feel that way, the more you're gonna behave that way. Like I treat myself like a movie star, you know, like how, like I pamper myself, I try to think that way, and then I feel like more opportunities come that way. So it's all about like, it's all about feeling how you want to feel, and then hopefully it starts happening.
Totally, yeah. So those 3 minutes, I think they're.
Thank you so much. Everyone, stay tuned for 1 second.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelley Jones, for letting us know.
That's how you know it is live. I am live cooking dinner, and it's coming out great. So
There you go. There you go. That's awesome.
Thank you, Kelley. Yes, you gave the reminder too.
Yeah, she rocks.
I need you guys with me all the time because there have been times I've left oven on, stove on. So this is keeping me on track.
Yeah. I know what you mean. The other day I was cooking dinner too, and then I was just editing a video, and then I was like, yeah, it's just gonna take a while, I'm just gonna do stuff. And then when I started to smell like something's wrong here, and then I went to the kitchen, it was this huge cloud, like this huge dark cloud that it was already burned. I was like,
oh my god, it just wasn't your ideas that were cooking. That's why it's so hard to multitask and be creative, because you're like, oh yeah, I'll just like write a little, and then you become like so invested in it.
Yeah,
like, oh.
yeah, totally. Now, tell me, what can you say to those who hasn't started following their dreams yet because they're telling them they shouldn't do it? Like this typical, that whenever you want to, I don't know, let's say that you want to be actor, musician, whatever, that you will receive like this from your family might or even friends telling you like, no, you shouldn't do it, you're not worth it. Like, what can you say to like to those people who aren't sure if they should start it or not?
Yeah, I mean, I have this conversation at least weekly, if not every other day, with people who reach out to me, or people that I work with in background acting or in my acting classes who are like really early in their career. And I've experienced it myself, where it's so insane that all it takes is like one person like saying like, yeah, go for it. Like sometimes all we need is like a little bit of encouragement to go and do something. So I'm like always, anytime anyone express any interest in any passion they want to pursue, like I try to give them that permission that they're having trouble giving themselves. Like, why not try it? Like, I love trying to learn new things. Like when I did sewing over the pandemic, like I'm trying to learn Polish right now. I have a ukulele I picked up like once in the last few months, but like, or like roller skating. Like I want to try new things all of the time. And I think that once I got over that fear that I'm going to be bad at it first or bad at it forever, you're never going to, I don't think I'm going to be the best at anything. But I think that over time I could be pretty good if I keep at something. And I think that's true for anybody. And if we get over the fact that like, oh, we have to be the best, like, even with like modeling, I've been doing that more, and I never considered myself like a model, but I was like, let me try this in the way that people in other careers might try public speaking. They're like, oh, it might help. I'm like, modeling might help with acting. And like, I'd post pictures, and then like more people would reach out about modeling, and then I'm getting more and more comfortable or more and more inventive on camera. So it's like you know what's gonna happen if you don't do anything. Nothing's gonna happen. But if you try, yeah, you might embarrass yourself. Yeah, you might fail. But you're gonna learn from that. And with acting or performing specifically, because that's what I get most questions about, it's like you just start. Like I'm like, you already started by having those thoughts, like recognizing, oh yeah, I would want to do that, by reaching out to me. That's a vulnerable step. Like when I reach out to people, I know that's like a lot. You're like, oh, I don't want to bother them, or like, oh, then this is making it more real, But that's another huge step. Like when I was going from producer to actor, there was a lot of moments where I was timid to take those next steps. Like when I was producing a show, the talent was for Gen Y, for Elite Daily, the talent that we would get. These are comedians who are, performing at the Comedy Cellar or UCB. The influencers we're working with, hundreds of thousands of followers. So like when I try to cast myself on this show, rightfully so, like one of the executive producers were like, yeah, but like then maybe you should start going to UCB. Like, what are your credits? Why do you deserve to be on the show? And I'm like, well, I'm writing half the jokes. I mean, I'm like I know that I can do it, but I don't have the credentials yet. And so that's I've been working on my credentials, obviously, but I wanted to get on the show. So what I would do is at the end of the shoot, I would be like, okay, like I know this isn't gonna be used for the show, but like let me sit down and pretend that I'm like one of the people, and I would write my own lines, deliver my own lines. They wouldn't be on the show, but then I'd be like, send it to my bosses, and I'd be like, oh, so like I did this without asking, but like just now you like to show you like this is what it would be like, and then I'm like, how about we just slip me in a little bit, and then before they know I'm one of the main cast members, but you know, like that's even like something as little, I say this to people too, even if something as little as changing, well, it seems big, you know, because it's your identity, how you're identifying, but like your Instagram bio or different bios. Like I remember the day that I put I was an actor, like at what point do you claim you're an actor? You know, a lot of people will be like, I'm an aspiring actor. I'm like a lot of photographers I've been working with lately, they're like, I'm an amateur, I'm just starting, so I wouldn't expect much. And I'd see the pictures and I'd be like, you are a professional. You know, like so many people don't, most people are under, you know, crediting themselves on where they're at. And it's like, just start doing it. There's people, something that gives me confidence. Some of the scripts I read, I'm like, they had the confidence to put this out there. I know I can write better than that. You know, that just like goes to show that it doesn't matter who's the best, it matters who's doing it, you know. And that's why I make sure to do this every day, every week, because I know eventually something's going to happen, you know. And the only way it won't happen is if I stop. So that's my advice, is just, and I've gotten a lot of negative feedback too, you know. People close to me have been telling me I'm not funny, I'm not good at impressions, I should find a full-time job that's stable. You know, I've heard a lot of it. When I'm trying to find representation now, the main thing I'm hearing back from these people are like, oh, you seem really great, but we have a lot of people like you on our roster. And it's like, okay, like, well, then how am I going to prove to people that I'm different? You know, like, what am I going to work on? I'm not going to, oh, you froze for a second. Maybe I'm talking too much. And
No, it's fine.
I'm just on a roll. I'm like a motivational.
No, yeah, keep going. Yeah. No problem here. I mean, keep going.
Yeah, but that's it. I've heard all of that stuff, but the main thing is perseverance. You don't have to be the best. You don't even have to be good. You could be bad, but just keep trying and putting yourself out there, because that's the only way that people become actors or become what they want to be. They just do it despite what other people say and their failures. So
there you go.
Yeah,
that is like the preaching moment of, there we go. That's cool. Yeah, totally. Now you give me 1 second so I can plug my computer, because it has like 8% of battery. And I don't
I make sure mine's charged.
Everything is there, so I don't want.
Hi to all my friends who joined. I know there's only 3 in here technically, but I know all of you. So great to see you.
You know, it's kind of, yeah. It's so right now my 3 dogs are kind of surrounding the chair, so I have to move very careful so I will not step into their, you know, box.
I didn't know you had 3. I knew you had 1. They're like quiet. They're pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty calm. I mean, the puppy's the one that is destroying my hand, so that's fine. And then I have like this huge husky that is lying like right next to here, but because he's huge, at the moment he moves, because he thinks he's little, he's kind of throwing everything, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
And the last one is in the back, but all 3 are just lying. But I'm kind of wondering if at some point a dog from the neighborhood or something comes by, what is gonna be the reaction? Probably you're gonna see like out of nowhere, boom, all 3 like moving around. So
I hope so. I mean, not to destroy your room or your thing, but just so I can meet the rest of them.
Yeah. Let me just plug the computer right now. There you go. Yeah, and yeah, perfect. You know, the other day happened to me. So I was in the middle of this interview, right? And we were like, you know, talking everything. And then right when the interview was close to be over, then the same scenario, all the 3 dogs here. And then like there was this bird who was just putting like resting outside my window. So when they realized that, they went all like super jumpy. They did throw the table. They did throw the computer, the phone, everything, which is chaotic. But the good thing here is that when the video was over, I edited, of course, because it was just like chaotic moment for a while, and I was like, no, I can't put this online. You know what I mean?
Even though people probably would have enjoyed that the most. I feel like people love watching the most when like things go not as planned.
Yeah, you know, something that I've been working on like a lot, that sometimes whenever I will get the video ready to go, and I will watch it, of course, that you are be like double questioning yourself, be like, should I leave this or put it away, or should I edit this instead of this? Like, I will, like, lately I've realized that I've been questioning that a lot, and for that it takes to edit a video a lot more of time, because I will be like, yeah, I don't know if I should put this, but that's something that I'm working on recently, is to be like, I'm just gonna put it, as you just said. I mean, maybe I'm cutting the part that is like one of the best parts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been learning that, and I'm studying this, or I'm working on this monologue for my acting class where I'm supposed to be waiting for the phone to ring, and so I'm getting more and more desperate as it doesn't ring, getting ready for a date that's not going to happen, and some things would happen, like, so we were taking it through the class slowly, and I was like getting mascara out, and as I was getting out, because I was a little frantic, it flew out of my hand. My teacher's like, keep that, and he's like, this is what you have to do, like, you have to live these when you're rehearsing, like, go through it, authentically feel things out, play with things, but when you encounter mistakes, those are the fun, specific moments that you should then work to incorporate. It's a little different because then, you're bringing it back in, like, rehearse, but in a fun way, because it's choreographed. Like, in another scene, I fall, but I know it's very calculated because I've practiced it a bunch of times. So, like, now I can have fun with it and make it seem like I'm really falling. And that's so much more interesting than that not happening at all. So I've learned that with that, and I think it translates to like live interviewing, because it's almost like documentary type style. Like, sometimes most interesting moments are when someone's candid. Like, they always say with documentaries, interviewing, that, like, you should start recording, let them know, but start recording as they're sitting down, or maybe wait a few moments after, because that's when people drop the facade and, like, you get some really cool candid stuff. So I think that all of the dogs running around and me having to cook and all the glitches are just all of the beautiful parts of us really living in this
totally
live
there was the other day I was gonna start this interview, and like one of the things. Okay, so my guilty pleasure in music, it's Taylor Swift, right? So the other day I was singing "Shake It Off," and before the interview I was just singing it, and then I realized that I was live and I was singing. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
That's like the cutest mistake.
But the good thing here,
it could have been way worse. The fact that you were bopping to "Shake It Off" is.
Yeah, I was just singing, and then when I realized, I was like, "Oh crap, I'm live." So I was like, "Okay, let's ignore that. Let's go to this guest." So give me 1 second. So yeah.
That's amazing. I hope you don't cut that out for YouTube. Those are the moments that make you.
Yeah, totally. But you know what? Actually, the husky is about to drop everything. So let me just take it. Give me 1 second.
Of course.
Dante, allá.
Also, thank you for that comment in the chat. Someone saying some nice stuff. It always feels good.
There you go. Whew. There we go. We got it. Perfect.
Nice.
Right. So, anyway, tell me, like, how has been the whole audition process now that everything is starting to open?
I feel like I have hair in my mouth. The audition process. So I actually haven't been getting too many auditions lately. I have 2 that I just got. One's due later tonight, and the other one's due on Saturday, which is nice. It gives me more time. And they're very different in the way that this one, they just want to get a sense of you, which sometimes happens. They'll be like, they won't even give you sides, even though it's a narrative. They'll be like, just answer these questions. Like, this one is to play like a drunken party girl, which is like one of my typecasts, just because I'm great at having fun. And so they just want me to answer a bunch of questions, like, tell us your, like, craziest party moment, and, like, different other questions like that. And I don't think they care. Obviously, they're not going to catch one who has the most interesting story, but, like, who can be the most engaging when telling that story. And also, like, that's such a better way sometimes to get a sense of someone's personality. because I've noticed more of the roles that I get are when they don't have to use their imagination to like picture me in that role. Like there's a clip or like a very specific headshot I'm submitting that is kind of already that person, so they don't have to, because that's with casting, you know, actors want a role very different from themselves because it's a challenge and you can play something totally new, have fun with hair and makeup. But casting directors, you know, they're on the side that they want to cast someone who can be most like that person, you know. So it's like I know we'll talk about the Anna Banana series, but my role on that is you know, it does tie into this. So originally I auditioned to be the banana, which I thought sounded like the most fun role. It's the manifestation of the main character Anna's anxieties, and I just thought that would be such a fun thing to play. I love when things are personified like that, and like surrealism. And so I wore a bright yellow hoodie. I had like a fruit sticker on my face. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to audition as this banana. And I got the call back, and I didn't end up getting the role. And the person who got it, like now that I've seen the trailer, I'm like, yes, like she's so perfect in it. And I was like, oh, you know, I'll follow the series because like these people seem really cool, and I love the idea of it. And even though I wasn't cast in it, like I'm still supporting it. So I stayed in contact with them, and a month or two go by, and her sister, the person who's cast as her sister, is supposed to be a very self-involved ex-child actor who's now an influencer, who has like her own makeup line, and all this fun stuff. And that person had to drop because they're in because they were just in other projects and they just couldn't make it work. And so they reached back out and asked if I wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, like absolutely. Like not only does that sound like a fun role, but the series sounded so fun. And we had a table reading, and as I was reading the role, which I do a lot when I'm first starting with characters, I'm like distanced from them. I'm like, oh yeah, like this person it's easy to like look at someone else. Like when people watch reality shows and like, they're crazy, or like, you know, I would never be that way. But with good writing, every character, everyone should be able to relate to. And that's how, you know, everyone should be universal. Like they all want love and acceptance and validation, like all of us, you know. So it's like, as I'm slipping into this character, I'm like, okay, like I am Jade in so many ways, you know. Like maybe I don't have 1 million followers, but I have, you know, an amount that I care about and that I want to like and that I want to entertain and that I want validation from. And the more that I dive into this character and other characters, I realize that more and more I connect with, and more that I show compassion for, and that ends up being better overall, because then the audience can connect with them. But going back to auditioning, it was like I was disappointed that I originally didn't get that one role because the project seemed so fun. But I now, on the other end, that I got a role that I so much more can identify with and play with. It was a great reminder that like in the auditioning process, like you can think you're perfect for a role, or you could think you could be the one, but it's like casting knows what they want, and so for any amount of reason you cannot get the role, but for the right reason you will get the role made for you. So that helps keep the pressure off, and that like I'm just gonna keep showing people who I am, you know, try to be like the character in whatever way I can, but like at the end of the day, the person they see most like this person is gonna get it, and that can seem defeating, but also can be inspiration that one day there'll be one for you. You know, just like finding your friends or your career or the loves of your life. It's like you can't force it. You know, the puzzle will fit at some point.
There you go. Yeah, and I do believe that the whole thing happened for a reason. I mean, for example, yesterday, I mean, how does it feel to become viral because of the picture being in everyone's Instagram story yesterday because of the whole, you know, fall of Instagram? That was, and you know, when you put that story, well, like, I saw that, like whenever I will open Instagram, it was there, like the whole time.
It was that for you too. That's so funny.
It was the same thing for me. Like, Like I watched it, and then I was like, okay. Then Instagram went down. I'm like, okay, fine. And then like a couple of minutes later, it was still there. But like throughout the rest of the day, because here it went on like around almost like at 7, yeah, like at 7 p.m. So since 10:30 to 7 p.m. if I open Instagram, it was your.
Well, I would apologize, but no apologies.
No, it's good. It's good
almost
because
looks like I was in cahoots with Instagram, but it's so it's so funny. You said that. I didn't even post all the people who said that. I do think Instagram likes butts. I think I think if you want your post to get more likes than usual, be in a bikini. Put your butt out there.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that from now on. I mean, maybe in my lives I will be having a bikini on it, and then yeah, the epic outro will be showing my butt. Good thing.
It can't hurt, butts are fun.
Totally. But yeah, that was really cool. And as I said, I mean, things happen for a reason, because I mean, it was really interesting how this whole thing that happened in some way kind of benefit you, because a lot of people was seeing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of like a symbolic for the pandemic. Obviously it's horrible for so many reasons, but it was so beautiful to see how people used that time, or how people used even the tough emotional states that they were in. Like it's kind of I wrote this once, and I'm sure I'm not the first one to say it, but that I don't believe that everything happens for a reason necessarily, but I believe things happen, and like what you do gives it purpose, like how you respond. Because tragic things can happen, amazing things can happen, but if you don't act on the amazing thing, or if you don't if you deal with something difficult in the way that it might hurt you more, it's really all how you respond. Like it's the whole notion of like, you can't control what others do or what happens out there, but you can control how you respond. So what do we do?
Totally.
What am I going to do that Instagram was down for 6 hours? Because I was on set and we were like in the basement, we all thought that we just like didn't have good service. So we were kind of like in this little bubble of like, we didn't know that happened. And then then when we came back online and I had my friends messaging me that was just like so fun. I'm like, I'm going to use this for more promotion for the post. So it worked out in that way.
Yeah, and it did. Yeah, I do believe that it did that it worked like that. And yeah, it's true. I think at the end of the day, it's all about perspective, right? Depending how you take things. For example, something that I could say real quick was that, for example, for me, I lost my job, but then I have right the second of it, then I was having the possibility to start this podcast. So I could have been all miserable and say, oh, my life sucks, and not paying attention to that and continue feeling miserable, or to be like, oh, cool, a new project, let's do that.
Yeah, and just think about the start of any movie or TV series or film. The person's always at their low. They're always just got let go of their job, went through a bad breakup, something. It's not that you need to be on at the bottom for anything good to happen. But in those moments, it is nice to know that that not only it could be nothing but up, hopefully from there. But in those times of uncertainty is when you find new opportunities. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, totally. And it's so interesting, right? That when you realize that, you start to continue that path, and then like a lot of opportunities and a lot of things start to come. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, because you work on that. I mean, you work in order to get to those, but it's just so cool that you started to see like more more people interested in that, or you start to receive like more attention to it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
it's all a snowball effect. Like you said, it seems like things are piling in sometimes, or falling to your lap, but it's hard to remember that like all these little decisions that you make have a total ripple effect. Like, totally. Yeah, just the idea to like, oh, let me start the podcast. Now look at where it's been,
Yeah.
It's so just that one little idea, one little step, one little saying yes to something or saying no to something. ends up making really, ripple effects to your future.
Totally. Yeah. Now that you mentioned Anna Banana, tell me, I mean, what can you tell me? Can you tell me a bit about the pilot? Like what can we expect to see and where we can watch it?
Yeah. So we just finished filming the pilot episode, and I'm just one of several characters in this world that Anna, the creator, Colleen Monroe, who's playing Anna, has created. So the first episode's kind of like getting to know Anna because she's the main character, and then just being introduced to everybody who is going to be playing a bigger role later on. So with me, you really get a sense of who I am in like kind of a explosive outburst that I have on social media, actually on a live, so let's see how method acting I go. Let's see where I go today. But it was really fun playing that, and even though I haven't read further episodes beyond the pilot, she's let me know that like a little bit more about what my backstory was, like when I was asking questions that like weren't in the pilot episode, and that I'm gonna be playing a bigger part in it, because we are stepsisters, and we're very different. Like I'm very into social media and the superficialness of that, and just like picture any Kardashian type, like that's more my world and what is important to me. And and I'm very confident, whether it be false confidence or not. I'm very outwardly extroverted, and so she's the exact opposite. She is very introverted. She's going to medical school, and we couldn't be more different, but we bonded as being sisters up until this moment that you'll see in the pilot episode that causes a lot of ripple effects, like we were saying before. So what's cool about it is, her anxiety turns into a banana. So now she gets that relationship where she's having a back and forth with her inner thoughts, which I'm sure like everyone can relate to,
totally.
What it would be like if that was a whole nother entity that you could talk with. And so it's not just her. There's other characters that she comes in contact with, who she finds out also has a personification of, might not be their anxiety, it might be something else that they're dealing with, whether it be depression or rage, whatever you identify that those intrusive thoughts are, or that thought process is just constantly happening, subconsciously. And so it's going to be a really heartwarming series that's like totally absurd. Like she's having like a lot of fun with like design and colors and costumes, and it will be like really surreal but like really honest when it comes to the inner thoughts that we're all battling every day. So I was so excited to be a part of this project, and that she let me know that I'll be a part of it long term, because that was also another goal that I've been setting for myself. I want to work on a character long term. I don't want to just get ready for it, shoot it, and then it's done. Like I like developing a relationship and sinking into this person, because like I was saying, it takes me time, it takes me time. So I'm so excited to be a part of this project long term, and it's going to be a web series that I think will dabble in film festival markets. So because there'll be so much there that I think they'll see like distribution wise what they want to do with it. But I know it's totally self-funded, and it's like a female crew the other day that we shot with, and it's really bare bones but like passionate, a passion project. So Anna Banana's series, I can put it in here, or you can help me put it in here, but if anybody like wants to follow it or like contribute, it's a project that I'm going to be working on long term, and that I'm really excited about.
That's so cool. I will put it on the description on the podcast and the YouTube, so they can check it out. You can comment on it.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Now tell me about, so in that post there's this jello fight, right? So tell me, how was that experience, and at the end, weren't you attacked by mosquitoes or bees or something like that? Was it like
question, because we were like on a farm, so there was actually, if you panned the camera, you would have seen sheep, goats, horses, biggest bunny I've ever seen. I mean, it was a really cool set. I hope we utilize some of those farm animals in the future, because what was cool and authentic to the town is our whole audience, like the people cheering us on, were from that small town in Pennsylvania. So like all these people were like acting for the first time, or some people like might have never even pursued it. And we had like full families, like so into it, like having so much fun. And yeah, we were both in bikinis, and it was funny. I felt like I was so jade. I mean, I already feel like I've been working on my confidence with like the modeling and stuff, getting more and more comfortable on camera with my body. But like, I feel like I was definitely like jade, where I had like no problem. Like I put on this little bikini, I'm like, yeah, let's go. But with the jello wrestling, I was really excited to get into that, because I'm very interested in stage combat and stunt work. Like I'm just like saying that out, you know, and applying. Like the audition I had for later, they were like, are you okay with going through candy glass? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yes, like I want to do these things. So although I haven't done too much on that front, that's something that I'm starting to say now. Like I was saying earlier, when like you're like, oh, you want to be an actor, start saying it to people. So I'm saying that I want to do more stunt work and like combat fighting and learning how to work with different weapons. I think all of that's so badass, and I want to learn more. So I expressed that to Colleen, the creator. I was like, can we really choreograph this jello scene? Can we really do research and rehearse, and like, so we don't just get there and it's like fake flimsy moves. Like let's really put something in this. And she was all about it, because she went to school for acting, and so did the DP. And so we were going back and forth, sending each other not only real wrestling tutorials, but like actual jello wrestling competitions that have happened. And we had so much fun like creating moves that we then brought into like it literally this big, like a little unicorn floaty that she bought. She said 100 gallons of jello.
Jesus Christ.
And she said it wasn't actually like edible jello. It was like jello made for jello wrestling, which I highly recommend if anyone wants to jello wrestle, because it was thick, so you weren't like slipping and sliding, like you felt like you could still, you know, do a lot in it. And also it was cushiony when you fell into it, because it wasn't just like deflating, you know, it was a nice thick jello wrestling consistency. So I had a blast. It was like so much fun trying out those moves with each other that we had like worked on, and in front of like such a supportive crowd in these fun bikinis. I mean, yeah, I had a blast. It was a lot.
That's so cool. So basically you had your own John Cena moves on that one.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit speechless right now, because I wonder, like, if I was in that situation, I would be having a blast too. I mean, I'm a little kid in those type of stuff, you know. So yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's what like acting is like being a child again. Like what projects are gonna be fun for you to play? You know, like even when it's a sad or a dark role, is it something that like you are gonna enjoy as an actor, like prepping for and being in? And like, yeah, so to me, nothing was more fun than being like, yes, we are going to jello wrestle.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's epic on that. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. As soon as it's good to go, let me know so I can put it also, so we can let the world know that we have this awesome show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we're pushing for maybe around a month for the first episode to come out. But yeah, I'm so excited. Like when I posted those screenshots, those are from the camera, you know, so like seeing how awesome it's looking already was really exciting. Yeah,
and the reaction, I mean, when you were uploading those posts and a lot of people liked it and commented, that was really cool.
Yeah, like seeing other people get excited about these things makes me more excited. You know, you don't want to feel like you're just like humble bragging on social media, which I totally am doing, but like, you know, you want to feel like as an actor, you want to, or anyone as a performer or in production side or anything, you want to feel like creating content, you want to feel like you're putting stuff out there that other people enjoying. Because I don't know about you, but that's how I got interested in this, you know, like I love watching other people's like web series or even TikToks, like sometimes when I'm sad, they get me to laugh, you know, and like, I
Yeah,
want to do that
totally.
for other people. So it's always great when other people are just as excited as I am.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Yeah, sometimes whenever I will get like a bad day or something, like watching some of the stories of the people that I've interviewed, those are cool.
Yeah, well, that's great
Yeah,
to hear.
those are really cool. Now, tell me, like, what motivates you or gets you back up whenever you're having a bad day?
Yeah, I mean, acting really, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm like, you know, trying to talk about my career. Like, the reason I'm so passionate about acting is because it does lift me out of bad places. Like,
Totally.
even when I feel overwhelmed with other decisions in life, it's like, oh, if I direct my energy towards this, I know I'm going to get something out of it. You know, it doesn't ever feel like I'm wasting my time rehearsing or applying for jobs or talking to other people about acting. It doesn't feel like I'm wasting my time. And when I'm in it, when I'm really in a scene, I always feel better afterwards. Like, if I'm truly in it, it's like a high. It's a high on life. Like, I'm really in this like flow state where yeah, I don't have to do anything destructive to feel good. Like, this is like a nice, healthy thing that I'm doing that's not only making me feel good, but like helping me with my career. And so, you know, yeah, for me, that's acting. For you, it may be connecting with people, you know, in this way. And that's how I feel too. Like, if I'm on set or I go to class, I can go in a bad mood, but connecting with people, and if I'm in a bad mood, I can say it. And, you know, and usually people are like helpful and like supportive, you know, and like that, yeah, connection helps me out of bad places. Because I think, going back to like talking about like that constant dialogue you're having in your head, it's like you a lot of people like can be more harsh on themselves than they should be, or, you know, down on themselves. And it's not like the other day when I thought I did like not that well on my monologue in class, I like said that to my friend, and he was like, oh no, like it was not bad. And it was like, oh, that's great that you said that to me, because now that's countering the thought that if I didn't say something and he didn't say that, that same thought would have been circling in my head until I went to bed at night. You know, oh, you didn't do good. I try to say supportive things like, oh, you can do better, you know, but just having someone say it wasn't bad was really great. So I think, I mean, that's why therapy is also great, you know, like, totally. But just like knowing that your thoughts are like, you're probably, you know, you say you're your harshest critic and stuff. So it's like, as soon as you just say these things out loud, they like lose some of their power, and they lose almost a lot of it too when you're met with like someone challenging that thought, whether it's just you or someone else. So I think, yeah, challenging it, and then also focusing on things that bring you joy help me get out of bad days.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, you know what?
And I have eating junk food and watching Netflix, you know, all of that stuff.
That's totally. Yeah, whenever there's something bad, junk food always works.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I can understand that. You know, I have a cousin that he's the worst. I mean, you don't want to tell him how you don't want to ask him for, like, if you did a performance and be like, how was it? Because his answer is gonna be always meh. Yeah. so that's the worst. When I like on my first interviews, I would be like, hey man, what do you think? He would be like, And I was like, what do you mean with that? I mean, So I was like, that doesn't help me at all. So now what I ended up doing is like, I'm not gonna tell him anything right now. So
it's like the best you can hope for him is like one that sounds slightly better, like like he's
but everything was like I was like, come on, I'm killing you. But yeah,
you are doing great. You're so good at this, and connecting with people, and your consistency is everything too. Yeah. I was even more excited for this interview than the last one, because I was already excited, but then like knowing how our conversations are, like I just would enjoy them if no one was watching. And I mean, not that many people are watching, but like that, I don't care, because it's like,
no, but
I love what like what we talk about, like, because we go into so many different directions.
Yeah, and you know what, people does get involved in it. I mean, for example, on the YouTube channel, what I've been like, I mean, the YouTube thing started recently. So I started to put like all of the videos there, and it's interesting how to see that people start to get involved. You know, of course that it takes time. I mean, I've been only having this YouTube page for like, I think over less than a month, like three weeks. No, I think a month anyway. But it's new. So the fact that see people get involved into this little by little, that's really cool, because of course that you will be hearing this minions in your head, you know, by seeing like, oh, like my page doesn't have enough subscribers or doesn't have enough views, and in meantime there's this guy there's this page who does things horrible and they have like 1,000 or million. Like, why? So what I try to do is to be like, yeah, but that page or whatever has been for years now, so it's obvious that of course that now it has more engagement. Right now for me, I'm just starting with this. I mean, the fact that that more people little by little is getting involved, that's fine by me, you know.
And time is always different for people too. Like, yeah, they might have been doing it for a while, but if it takes you triple the time, hey, at least you get there. You know,
totally. And you know, like it has taken me like a lot of days in which I will not sleep. But the funny thing here is that I don't get tired, or I don't feel like on my, for example, like on my previous job, that no matter how good sleep I was getting it, when I woke up I was feeling like, oh, I don't want to go. You know, I was feeling like horrible, like this, like every time I was saying like, kill me right now, come on. I mean, let's finish it quickly right now. I don't want to keep up doing this, you know. But with this, it's just interesting that no matter how tiring it is, at the end of the day, I just keep doing it, and I enjoy it. Of course, that has taken me away from things that I used to do. For example, like be with friends or something. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a sacrifice. And when I started this, I remember that there were a lot of people telling me that there's going to be a lot of sacrifices on the road, that you're not going to be able to hang out with friends sometimes, or you're not going to be able to be with family sometimes, because you're working with that, and that's fine. I mean, as long as it is what you love the most, people who really love you is going to understand and is going to be happy about it, you know.
Exactly. I was going to add that at the end of that like the real friends are going to understand and support you every step of the way. Yeah, even going back to when you were saying about your cousin that does that, you know, it's like you got, because family's tough, because it's like naturally you take their opinion very seriously, but when it comes down to like your career and stuff, it's like, what opinions do you really value, you know? And because it's good to take, you know, bad criticism if it's justified, and you know, you don't just want all good stuff, because then you don't know how to grow. But it's like what I noticed with my self-confidence this past year, when I was challenging my negative thoughts, I was like tracing them all back, and I'm like, oh, this is something that like someone told me, you know, this is someone told me I'm not good at that, or that I could never be that. I'm like, okay, let me not identify with those anymore. I'm like, I'm actually a very confident person. Like, I think I'm pretty great, you know, like I think that I could do these things if I tried really hard, you know. So it's like, now that I've been able to separate that for the most part, like it's helped me become so more self-assured. And I still love, like I sometimes directors will be like, oh, we don't want to, you know, over direct you or what. I'm like, no, give me feedback. Like, I love it. I don't care if it, you know, obviously there's a gentle way to say things. You should be, you know, fostering the best performance you can without like yelling at someone, making them feel bad. But like, yeah, I'm so grateful for any of those notes, because I value their opinion and I know they're coming from a good place. And that's the difference between people, you know. I don't know your cousin, but it's like, if he's never going to be impressed and you are doing impressive things, it's like, is that just a reflection of him, you know, not doing what he wants to do? And like, you know, maybe he would only do something if he was perfect, so now he's not going to be satisfied with you unless it's perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. So it's like, yeah, just valuing opinions that are going to be helpful, I think is the best.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, I talk about it in my in the last interview that I had a couple of minutes ago, that that I realized that the more that I have been myself involved into this project and more focus on it and more like trying to reach more things here and there, the more I realized that I mean, during that, yeah, like the more I realized who's really there for me. You know what I mean? Even really close friends, some of them will be saying like I don't know, man, you should find like a very like a stable job, you know. And when I say when I do this, it's because nothing is. I mean, stable jobs.
Exactly.
I mean, you know what I mean? And even I mean, and also with family too, and really close family too, that they would say like, no, like what you're doing is million of people is doing it too, and like discouraging. And I get it that they're saying it because they don't want to see you feeling bad, or they don't want to see you failing. But at the end of the day, I mean, if it is what you love and if it is what you want to do, of course that there's gonna be failures on the road or whatever. But what I would say is that if you have someone who wants to do something, support him. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of thing it is. I mean, at the end of the day, they want all the things that they want. It's kind of acceptance and supporting. And if they're asking it for a family member, what better way to just really support it? And if that project or whatever that person do will go eventually into this failure stage or whatever, you need to then teach him that's life. You know, that is how things work. Because I think that one of the problems here is that they never teach us how to deal with failure. You know what I mean? That I remember back when I was a kid, they never taught me how to deal with failure. You know, they were always gonna be telling me things that you're gonna be a rock star, you're gonna reach super high, the world's gonna be at the palm of your hand or whatever. And that's great, because yeah, it boosts your morale. But at the same time, I do think that we need moments in which they can tell us that, hey, failure is gonna happen, and when failure comes, just deal with it. I mean, it's not personal. The world is not against you, because I think it's so typical, right? That whenever something bad happens, there would be some people who will blame somebody else. You know what I mean? That, oh, I am not a good director because Spielberg is not my last name. You know what I mean? Or, oh, I'm not a good actor because DiCaprio is not my last name. So instead of looking for somebody to blame in order to feel better, what I would say is just to deal with it and just continue working hard, you know?
Yeah, that is crazy wise. I mean, the fact that, that both you and I can like have an understanding of that, like at the age we are. Some people take some their whole life to realize that. Like, the reason I like clapped when you were saying the stable thing is because, yeah, like you said, that could be us. What is a stable job or a stable relationship or a stable home? Like, nothing is stable. So why live in fear that you're going to lose something? Like, even letting the fear stop you, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never going to happen. And if you're going to be living in fear, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're wondering if you should do something or not, I mean, at the moment you're wondering it, you have the worst outcome, which is nothing, because you're not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, actually, yeah. It reminded me. I don't want to call anyone out, not that they're following on Instagram, but I was performing, and I was getting notes after my performance, and someone was like laughing and kind of like making comments, but this person never gets up and performs. And it just like reminded me of like people who like yell at the who love watching sports and are like yelling like, how could you not get that tackle down 40-yard line? I don't know much sport, but like you get up, you put your like buffalo chicken wing dip down for a second, and you go on that field and see how hard it is. Like, yeah, that person's making mistakes, but like, because they've made so many other successes and because they're trying, if you're trying, you're definitely going to fail unless you're like a robot. Like, yeah, you're you're gonna fail, but the worst failure is the one who's just mocking people on the sidelines.
Totally. Yeah. I do agree on that. Totally. Yeah, I do think. Yeah, the fact that it's so easy. As I said, I mean, it's so easy to criticize somebody, right? It's so easy to say, "Oh, you messed up because you did this." Yeah, but why not be in those shoes? You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like, instead of criticize, do it. And I had kind of that same situation on my Twitch channel the other day. I was just kind of playing this game, right? And then there was this cup, but it wasn't on my channel. It wasn't the channel from some. So I was kind of doing like a collab with somebody else. And then on the comments from that one, they were criticizing how I was playing. So I was just laughing at it. And I was like, well, and I was saying to this guy, well, if you want, just come join us. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm good or if I'm bad, I don't care. I mean, it's just entertainment. And if you don't like it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're gonna brag that you're better, or if you're gonna brag that the performance is horrible, well, then please teach us how to do it. You know, I mean, I would love to learn something new, and also I just think that the problem is that we live right now in this world, in this very angry world right now. You know, the other day I was I also said that on the previous interview, that the other day I was, you know, on the check-in Facebook, the wormhole of Facebook. You know, I hate sometimes social media because it takes only one thing so you can start watching memes and videos, and you know what I mean. So then I was I was just checking memes, and then there was this video about this guy that they were hitting it. Like 4 guys were hitting somebody else because he was not wearing a mask and stuff like that. I was like, but what's the point of it, you know? Or this video in which this lady was speaking to everybody because they told him like, hey, you need to wear a mask, and she got super angry and started spitting everybody. You know, like what's the reason of it? You know, like why are we living in this moment in which we like to point at each other? You know, we like to point at, yeah, it's your fault. But I saw this video about this guy saying, like, when you point at something, there's this 3 fingers who are looking at you.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That, like, those 3 fingers are looking back at you. So if you're going to criticize, if you're going to criticize somebody performance because you're not an actor and you want to be an actor, then be an actor. You know, start by waking early, start making your bed, do exercise, eat healthy, do all the proper steps. Because I think that right now, like, a lot of people wants to be famous, or everybody wants to be famous and reach the height and reach like fame and glory, but nobody wants to get to work on it. You know what I mean? Like, very few people will be like, no, I want to do it, I want to work it, and they will put the work on it. But a lot of people would say they would just be criticizing, you know, and just trying to see what that person said wrong, so I can start to attack him and start to, you know, say a lot of bad things. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not, like, in this video that I was watching, they were saying like there's no point of putting filters on your photos so you would look skinny. If you're fat, you're fat. That's it. I mean, that's not a problem. If you don't like how you look, start to exercise, you know, start eating healthy, start running, start jogging. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't accept yourself and you don't love yourself, then don't expect the world to love you or accept you if you're not doing it yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, even if people do want to wear or put on filters and makeup, I don't know if I have a full opinion either way, because I know people want you to be authentic. Hey, I came on no makeup today.
And you look amazing.
My friend came over. She was coming to borrow my audio equipment, another actor, and I was like, oh, I got this live in like I think 10-20 minutes, and I'm like, but I just had a chemical peel, and he said don't put my makeup on. I'm like, should I like do it at a later time? And I'm like, as I'm saying that, I'm like, no, why? Like, I want to be more authentic. That's why I try to, at least in my writing on Instagram and stuff like that. Like, I know my pictures are all like professional and at my best, and this is more how I look every day. But I love those. I love that catalog of pictures. I love how they make me feel. So like, even though what I post every day is not what I look like every day, I'm still striving to be authentic. And also, choose how I want to present myself. So I think, yeah, you could go either way with that, but it's all about what makes, like you were saying, you feel good and you feel.
Yeah, exactly. Do what you love the most. I mean, for example, with your modeling pics, which by the way they're amazing, especially with the whole kind of the wedding dress. That looks badass. Yeah, it looks.
Thank you. Literally
But-
the prettiest day of my life. Oh my god.
But the truth here is that you're putting work on it, and that's what deserves like a shout out. That's what deserves like a huge applause, that you're putting work on it, that you're not in that situation in which you are just criticizing and that's it. No, you're putting work on it. You don't care about that. You're just focusing on what you love. And I think that's how people should do. I think that we should care more about us, about what makes us happy, and just do what the things that we love, at the end of the day, because you can easily tell that whenever somebody's doing something they love, like on your pictures, they look amazing and they feel real. Either way, if you have makeup or not, they feel real and they feel awesome, and instantly makes you think, or makes you say like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, awesome. You know what I mean?
Thank you for saying that, because sometimes I do hope that people aren't annoyed by me, like, oh, she's always bragging, but like I'm doing, like you said, that is the intention. Like I'm doing cool stuff that I love, and I know, because it works time and time again, that when I post those things, they get on other people's radar and they're like, oh, she likes doing this, and then they'll reach out and ask me to do more of it. So it's like a win-win.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you're killing it here, and yeah, that post with the wedding dress, that's epic one. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's epic. Yeah, we need to at some point have some prints on it so you can autograph it, because those are cool.
Oh, thank you so much. I wish I could have kept the dress. It was, I was a model to do hair and makeup, but it was in a bridal studio where the dresses were there, and I was eyeing that dress. There were dozens, and I'm like looking through the mirror at it. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty and puffy and sparkly. And we weren't originally gonna wear the dresses, and as they're about to take our picture, I'm like, can I finish the look? And they're like, sure. And I go over and it's my exact size, and I'm like, oh, this is what it must feel like to like really find your dress. But it was funny because they're wedding dresses, and I'm not engaged, but I was thinking when I was wearing it, I'm like, this feels like I'm manifesting like what dress I'd like to wear on the red carpet. Not every big dress has to be a wedding dress. Like I'm like, yeah, maybe not that color, but like I was like, oh, this is what I would want to wear, on the red carpet. And going back to what you said before about, having your goals, and like not everyone can be famous. Like, although I love, imagining that red carpet life, like that's the reason that I try to keep my goals on track of, in the vein of like, if that never happens, like that's why like my goal wasn't to, obviously I would love to be on like a TV sitcom or some a reoccurring series like that, but that associates it with, like you were saying earlier, numbers and clout and very specific opportunity that boils down to luck in a lot of cases. So then that's why I made my goal, I just want to have a reoccurring character. It doesn't matter at what level, and now that I have that, I can be happy where I'm at in my career.
Yeah, totally. And at the end of the day, you're gonna reach like that red carpet level. I'm super sure of it. I mean, at some point we're gonna see you at the Oscars, and when that happens, trust me that I will be popping a bottle of champagne and make it alive.
You'll be there, and you'll be like interviewing, and that I see it all happening. So because at the end of the day, things eventually, I mean, if you put the work on it, eventually things are gonna appear by itself. And I do believe on that, because like on a personal level, whatever I will put my mind into something, I will get it done, and I will get the results eventually. So that kind of motivates me to be like, I already know that if I put my soul and work into something, eventually it's going to work out. So I just need to continue doing it and not lose focus, because let me tell you that of course that some days will happen and I will be like, I don't want to do anything, I'll be like, just like super tired, and I feel like, but then, and that's fine. I mean, we all need days in which can kind of like regroup and then start and then get back up. That's fine, because
Like some people would say, like, no, you need to work 24/7. And I started with that. Let me tell you that it was horrible. It was just horrible. I mean, I barely was having like enough sleep. I was barely eating. I was just, it was at some point I was like, no, I mean, if I continue doing like this, I'm not gonna reach my 30s. You know what I mean? And that is like a year away. So
yeah, I think that does say something about your passion, but then people start to glorify that, and like how you were saying, like not only is it okay to take those rest days, but they're like actually imperative, you know. And when people have full-time jobs, that's their weekend. But like when I work most weekends, I'm like, that's why I feel not bad at all if I do a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know, like my weekend, or it can be freaking 4 days. Like it's just like whatever you need. It's about the long run. You don't want to burn yourself out. And because I think a lot of people think, and I've been this way for sure, where sometimes I don't take steps on things or take care of myself until something physical, like maybe I get sick and I'm like, oh, I really like wore myself down. You shouldn't have to wait till that moment. You should just be taking downtime all the time so you don't get to that. So I'm glad that we're both recognizing that and taking time when we need to. I want to give you some time if you want to ask me any more questions, because I do have to sign off in a few minutes, unfortunately.
That's okay. So my last three questions is, so my last three. The first one is, so on your Instagram recently, there was a picture in which you came out. So tell me what inspired you to give that news, and what could you say to those who are afraid, you know, like to take that step? Because I know that there's a lot of people that they're afraid, you know, of what their families, friends, or whatever, or how society, let's say, they will treat them. So, like, what inspired you to kind of take that step? And what can you say to those who are afraid to, you know, to do it?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So for years here, like at least probably 4, you know, it's hard to gauge because it is something that I knew my whole life, but it wasn't something that like I ever gave much attention to. It was just easier to be like, well, I'm also attracted to guys. That's like what makes sense. You know, I'm just gonna date guys. And then I think it wasn't until I started working at Elite Daily, the company where it was like all really cool people my age from like New York City who like were a lot more open thinking, and I was just exposed to people more that were gay or part of the LGBT community that like was like, oh yeah, like I feel that way too. And so I would tell my friends, and that would happen throughout the years, or you know, entering different relationships, like I would let them know. But it was like, it feels weird that I have to keep like having this conversation as if it's like something like it was making me feel like it was like a red flag mine, like, oh, just to let you know, or like, you know, like it was like I had to keep coming out like to each friend, you know, at a certain point. And it was just like, let me just put it out there so I don't have to go through the exhaustion of just like telling everybody this. And I'm thinking that for at least a few months, and if not longer, you know. Oh, that is my friend, so I'll wrap it up. But or I could have my roommate. But so I googled like when bisexuality visibility day was, and it would just happen to be like a month from when I was like, I want to like say this. So it was like a month of like being excited that like the day was coming. And you know, like I said, all my friends knew and supported me. And so my one friend, Andrew, who's an awesome photographer, if anyone needs on New York City, is awesome. But he, I went to him with this idea that I wanted to like not only say it, but say it in like a really celebratory way. Do you mind giving him? Thank you so much. And just let him know I'm on an Instagram Live, and he can come in. Okay, live TV, live Instagram Live. And something else too is the guy that I was dating talking about this, you know, very receptive of it, and he said like, oh yeah, like visibility like is important, you know, because it does encourage other people. And just like hearing that word and hearing that statement, like, oh, that visibility is like helpful, like it made it bigger than just me being like, oh, should I like come out or not? It's like, oh no, like I'm already such a public figure, like I should like putting myself out there, that like
totally.
that I'm doing a service to other people by letting them know that this is how I feel. And even with acting, like I wanted, I felt like I was only playing straight roles, and it's like, well, that's because that's all people know that I am, or I'm interested in playing. So, definitely not something I did for my career, but something that I thought could help open up my career and my relationships. So, and then it was so, it got so much support, and so many people that I already knew reaching out, being like, yeah, I feel this way. And you gave me encouragement and asking questions. I'm like, wow, because other people did that for me, made me, gave me support to do that. So it made me feel so great for it to come back full circle.
That's so amazing. That's so amazing. I have to give you an epic shout out for that, because I do think that it takes a lot of balls, to just come out the way that you are, and that's it. So I need to give you a huge shout out. So
thank you.
Again. There we go. No, wait, it's collapsing. Now, there we go. It's working. There you go.
Honestly, the best part of the show is the sound.
I know, right? And like, my last question is, what can we expect from Kelley in the future?
So, well, the next project that I'm so excited about, my friend Brian Russell Smith, he works at Betches. He's producing his first film that I'm going to star in characters, and it's going to be really cool because it's a family dynamic. I won't give too much away, but like I just feel like I haven't played that many roles yet, and I can like exist in a family and play off all those themes. So that film I'm shooting in a couple weeks, and I'm preparing for that and being really excited for that. And what else can you expect from me? Obviously, a lot more photos from photo shoots. I've just been doing like a lot of them, more modeling. It's been really great. It's funny. I've been like, social media is how it works. The more you look at things, the more they pop up on your feed. And I've like really been like admiring Marilyn Monroe for like, I always have, but like in a way, like studying her, reading history about her, and like that's also made me so interested in not only modeling, but like my sexuality, and then being a sensual person. And I think that you can expect from me even more authenticity, even more content. I almost don't want to keep saying this because I've been saying it for so long, but I do have a short film of my own that I was going to produce before the pandemic, and hopefully now I'm going to start taking steps towards it. But yeah, a lot more content, a lot more authenticity, and a couple fun web series and films coming up.
That's so amazing, Kelley. I mean, at the end of the day, as I said before, since our last interview, I mean, you are so talented, so awesome, so amazing here. You are so real. The fact that you are putting like a lot of work on it, that you are now part of that you are now part of the union, that you are now having like a lot of, wait a minute, something is going on.
It keeps going.
There we go. Yeah, it was a commercial, sorry.
And in the union, yeah. Then you'll see me in the background of quite a bit shows coming up. So I'll be clipping those couple seconds of fame and posting those too.
There you go. And yeah, I mean, you are super awesome here. I mean, you're a badass. What can I say? You're a badass, and keep being a badass, because the world needs that. The world needs originality. The world needs content creators. The world needs someone who can relate. And the fact that you are being you, and you're putting a lot of work to it, and it's working, and it's amazing. That is really inspiring, and I'm super sure that, I mean, you totally saw that, how many people support you, and a lot of people is gonna come eventually in the future because you're amazing. So make sure that you keep doing that, you keep pushing your dream, because you are totally succeeding. And also because basically you guys, actors, musicians, as I said before, you guys are the real superheroes on life, because you guys go through shit and hell, and you still manage to continue pursuing your dreams. And that is something that everybody should admire. And because of that, I have to give you an epic shout out. So let me start with the first one here, because you totally deserve that one. Yeah.
Do you have one that's like a tearjerker? Because I'm this close to Waterworks. I said, do you have one that's like a tearjerker waterworks one because you had me this close to crying during that. Such a
Yeah, I think I have one.
You have one. You have one. Of course you do.
Yeah, I think I have one. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I think it's one of like, could it be something like this maybe?
Yes, very appropriate.
Tell me like
to how I feel inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for saying that. And same to you. Like the energy and support that you bring to these interviews. I mean, I know how you make me feel, and you make so many people feel like this every week. Like, please don't stop. But I don't think that you will. You've got that drive that I admire. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna stay here for a very long time. At the end of the day, as I said, I mean, I want to create a community, and I want to make sure that I mean, because you guys are humans too. I mean, well, of course, you're the superheroes, but you're humans, and I think it's important that those who are not, like familiar with the whole acting side or whatever, to know that you guys are human too, and you guys sometimes feel bad, and you sometimes have your moments, and you have to start somewhere. And I think that's even more inspiring. I mean, not
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying here is that I think that it doesn't matter how many amazing movies you have done or whatever. What matters here is that like how many like all the work that you put to it so you can reach to that moment. And I think that is what's inspiring. And the fact that you are working on that deserves a huge shout out every day and every single second, because you are killing it.
Thank you so much.
So keep having an amazing rest of the day. So also thank you so much for those who tune in. If you're listening to this later on the podcast or watching this later on the YouTube, first put pause, leave a like, subscribe, and then hydrate, and then follow Kelley Lord for social media. Leave 1 million likes here and there. Support all her comments, all her post, comment. I mean, just spam her with love and good energy, because she's a true rock star here. And also, I'm gonna leave all the links in the description so you can check it and then come back. And again, Kelley, thank you so much for another episode. I love having the chance to talk with you every day, because as I said before, you're amazing. Before I send you up, I need to give you the classic epic cheering effect. So there you go. It's a classic one.
Thank you so much, Dan. This is always the best. Anytime you want to chat, you know I'm down.
Thank you. Keep having an amazing rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.